What's going on, you guys? Kim Doyle here, and today we're going to jump back into the money mindset stuff. And actually, it's probably a little bit less more money mindset than it is the magic of what can happen when you start seeing how everything connects. So today we're going to talk about the wealth you can't measure and why connection changes everything. So let's go ahead and we're going to start with a story because, well, why not? That's what inspired all of this. And I have been really trying to step up my engagement and connection on Substack. When I was getting started, ignorance really was bliss. I jumped into anything. I'm like, I'll try it. I mean, when I get memories that pop up on Facebook, Facebook used to ask you, what are you doing? And I would say, what was the question? Was it, what are you doing? And I would literally be like, writing a blog post into the void. But I was showing up. Okay. We didn't know how all of this stuff worked at the time. And I wasn't the experienced marketer that I am today. 17 years later, one would hope. So this is the beauty of Substack and what I'm enjoying. And I promise this is going to connect into this sort of untapped hidden element of wealth that is often overlooked because it's not quite as tangible as we perceive it to be. All right. So really what this is last week I had at the time of recording, right? Last week I had been commenting and there's a woman I follow and her name is Lisa Marie. And I'm going to link to her below because any Gen X woman, you need to follow her. So I had commented and liked her stuff and was following her. And then the next thing you know, another friend of mine had restacked. That's when you reshare someone's content on Substack. They had restacked something of hers, and I commented again, and then I said, "I swear I'm not stalking you." I think I shared this in another video, but I said, "I swear I'm not stalking you. We're just kindred spirits." And she's like, "Oh, we should Zoom." And then I sent her a direct message, and I said, "Oh my God, that would be great. Would love to talk to you." She is in Scotland, and they have her family, her husband's family has a house in Italy. They spend time in Spain. They've got a property in Bahamas. And what got me excited about that is, as you know, if you've watched any of my other videos, I spent a couple years living in Costa Rica, and I'm looking at Spain or Portugal, within the next year to move to. And she said, "Oh, we should definitely talk then." And I thought maybe even Italy. It all depends on visa options and all of that, right? So we set a time to catch up, and we had a call. It was 7:30 my time, which would be 3:30 in Scotland. One of my best friends in Scotland, so pretty good with that time zone. And it was as if I had known her forever. You have those moments, and it was funny because she said to me, I rarely do that, like, "Oh, we should Zoom." And I'm like, "I get it, ditto." Like, the fewer calls I have on my schedule, the more white space I have in my week in general, kind of makes me pretty relaxed. I do that every now and then. Somebody will resonate with me, and I just feel like, "Do you wanna have a call? You wanna chit chat?" Whatever. So, long story short, we both got introduced to this whole world of internet marketing, like, in 2006 at an event. We both were kind of sharing these e-marketers from way back when and could see she is I didn't ask for her age. We're midlife, we're same demographic, and she's got a call for heroines, a whole newsletter, and she's really in the supporting of midlife women and women who are stepping into a next chapter. So, we have this amazing call, and she's like, "Well, let me interview you. I've got this show." And I said, "Absolutely. And let me include you in the newsletter. And I will be launching a podcast for women, wisdom, and wealth." And thought, of course, I'll be interviewing her. I just walked away from that, just giddy, this connection. We have underrated wealth building strategies that aren't tactical money strategies, connection and relationships, which we've all heard that phrase, until they're underrated because not only can they lead to revenue, okay, but it doesn't just feel good. It literally changes our brain. So when we feel safe, supported, and emotionally connected, we get that little hit of oxytocin, which is the bonding hormone. Cortisol, which is stress, goes down, and we shift into this creative possibility driven thinking, which I have no doubt is why this Zoom call made me feel so energized because it wasn't just a nice chat. It was my nervous system kind of thinking, "Ah, this is good. We're good here. Let's create." And it was funny because I started the call with like, "What's your story?" Which is not how I open things, but I was kind of giddy and just excited. And yeah, you never know what's going to come out of my mouth when I'm excited. So let's move into how this can actually translate into wealth. Because just as a stat you may or may not know, but women reinvest 90% of income back into their families and communities. We build social mission businesses. We share what we've learned. We refer, we support. It's who we are. And I've had different times in my career where I've been much more in connecting mode. And then there's times I need to pull back because of something going on in life. And that's okay. But it's always there. And it's such a natural mode for women to be in. Oh, I know someone you should connect with or talk to. Every single time I talk to somebody who is doing something and I know somebody else that would be an asset or be a benefit to them, my first thought is I have to introduce these people. I had a conversation earlier this year. I had been thinking maybe Mexico, and another friend of mine said, "Oh, I have a friend in Mexico. You guys should chat." Did that. I mean, it's a little bit nuts, but I've got friends all over the world because of what I do. And I don't mean that like I've got friends out. But when you show up and engage and support and connect, stuff's going to happen. Stuff's going to show up that is hard in the moment to translate into wealth. And so many of us, especially Gen X women, and when I say that, guys, please know I don't buy into the whole, this generation versus that generation. Every single generation has challenges and struggles that are relative to them at that time. Okay. So, boomer, Gen Z, millennial, Gen X, whatever, hear my heart. I've got nothing but love for everybody, as long as you're a decent human being. But we were really taught to be independent. I remember we walked to and from school. My kids were driven the whole time and we had to figure it out. We were kind of told not to ask for too much. And it wasn't so much that parents telling us, but that was the societal expectation. We just figured stuff out. We managed it. I think we may have been one of the first generations to really grow up with the idea that you can have it all. Newsflash, I don't want it all. I don't want to take care of children and a home and a household and a family and work full time and, which again, I think this is the beauty of heading midlife and not having those responsibilities is that I like the pace of my life. I like the white space. I like slowing down. I like spending time in the garden. Guys, I am growing baby sprouts. I'm going to throw you a picture in. I am planting a vegetable garden and I'm really excited. And there was a time that I would have been like, I don't have time for that. I've got stuff to do. But now I love the slowing down. But the truth is, at the end of the day, the more supported I feel, the more generous I become with my voice, with my ideas. You can choose to do things like let me gift someone a scholarship or let me take my time out of my day to say, let me just help you with that. I'm not saying that you should negotiate pricing. You have to learn to listen to yourself. And usually by midlife, that really gets honed in and you start trusting yourself more. And my therapist said to me, without boundaries, you can't stay connected to source. And my connection, my alignment is really, really important to me. And I realize that the more I step into what is true and right for me, the easier it is to have boundaries. And the truth is, when a boundary is good for you, it is always good for the other person. So that generosity, that ability to give, it's so trite, you guys, but it's the old oxygen mask. You put your oxygen mask on first, but that generosity, that is wealth creation. That's how we shift the script. If you're craving this kind of support and synergy in your life, here's what I would suggest this week. Just a few things to test and try. Send the message. Tell a woman you admire that her work resonates with you. You could always start a connection circle if you have an audience. If you're not building a list, that's okay. You could reach out to a handful of friends and say, I want some more female friend time. Could we do a book club, a wine thing, a breakfast thing, a walk, a coffee, whatever it is? And maybe it's every other month. It's funny because every single time I feel like I've got too many obligations, I am always glad I went. I am always glad that I did that. Audit your feed. This is a key thing, regardless of whether you are in business or not. Take the time to really carefully curate your social feeds so that you can tune out things that don't serve you and don't make you feel good. Practice receiving. This is a good one. Compliments, praise, support, let it in. Practice receiving as well. And then really be generous with introductions. That 2-minute message could change someone's month. You have no idea. Or ask for that. Say, I'm really looking for some referrals. If you guys know anybody who needs this, that, whatever it is, or do you know anybody who's interested? I want to pick up pickleball. Does anyone know any pickleball clubs? We have to stand in our own power and start asking. So the truth is that wealth isn't just spreadsheets and savings accounts. It's connection, it's community, it's creativity, and self-trust. If you have ever felt like you need to do it all on your own, this is your gentle nudge. You do not have to do it alone. In fact, you'll probably go further when you don't. So let me know in the comments what's one moment where support changed something for you. As always, thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to like, subscribe, and again, let me know. I'd love to hear where support really changed your life. And I will catch you next time.